Concussions can be detrimental to an athlete's career, socially, physically, and spiritually. In this video, we will analyze which strategies athletes use to cope with a concussion and how athletes can engage their faith through recovering from a concussion. We believe Christianity provides a positive outlook on the healing process, with short-term and longer-term emotional distress due to a concussion. We will explore the question, how is Christianity related to coping with concussions, and how can it provide strategies and healing?
Concussions are a complex pathophysiological process affecting the brain, caused by traumatic biomechanical forces, such as a massive hit in rugby. They result in symptoms such as headaches, dizziness, difficulty concentrating, and feeling dazed or confused. Long-term effects of concussions are more serious and require a more severe plan of action. One of the ways in which an athlete can understand and aid their recovery is by using coping strategies, which can vary from athlete to athlete. Some types of coping strategies are self-distracting, active coping, such as seeking additional information on their injury, emotional support, such as talking to family members and friends about their injury, acceptance and denial. Since concussions don't present themselves with many overt signs of injury, the strategies athletes use are very different than those with an orthopedic injury, for example, someone who tore their ACL. This could lead concussed players to seek a different path for healing. Relying on spirituality can provide athletes with hope and healing.
Christianity can play a large role in an athlete's recovery. Athletes can engage their faith through prayer, support of the church, and having faith in God. Researchers have looked at the relationship between prayer and health and found positive outcomes such as less stress and a decrease of depression. For Brett Shank, an athlete who experienced 7 concussions and severe post-concussion syndrome, prayer and spirituality played a large role in his recovery.
But I just knew that Jesus was with me, and that's when I realized that I couldn't walk through it myself, which I think is really, it's just like life. I can't save myself, right? And I do need Jesus. I needed Jesus in my concussions, and I need him in my life too. So.
Prayer can speak to the alleviation of pain and suffering by providing meaning and significance to an injury. Brett relied on the church and elders to pray over him for healing of the pain in his head, and he was able to strengthen his journey with the Lord through his concussions.
Prayer became a significant intervention.
2 hours, they were praying with us, and we had a whole army of people praying that weren't there as well. I don't know how many people were praying that day on the January 30th last year.
Another coping strategy is having faith in God. In Philippians 4, verse 6 to 7, it says, "Do not be anxious about anything, but in every situation, through prayer and petition, with thanksgiving, present your requests to God, and the peace of God, which transcends all understanding, will guard your hearts and minds in Christ Jesus."
Just total surrender. I finally realized I didn't have an option, and well, he was the option, and it was comforting to take that option as well.
This can be a way for athletes to engage their faith after a concussion and rely on God to provide emotional or physical healing, leaving the worries in the hands of God and trusting that God has a plan for their recovery.
Just knowing that he has a plan, and he is with me all the time. And
as we've discussed the multiple coping strategies for concussions, one can have a greater understanding of how the Christian faith can provide coping and healing for athletes who are struggling with the recovery of concussions. For Brett, he found his path for healing through his spirituality and faith in God. If spirituality and prayer can provide healing, should all injured athletes adopt this outlook in their recovery?